My mistress is pregnant, so please divorce me. Owen pleaded over the phone. I understood his feelings all too well. But was there really a need to throw my belongings into the yard? I get where you're coming from, but shouldn't we talk things over before getting a divorce and finding a lawyer? Besides, we need to sign the divorce papers. It's all ready, he said. Sure enough, when I checked, I found the divorce papers and the lawyer's contact. He seemed serious. Holding the divorce papers, I smirked, thinking to myself, all right, just as planned. I'll contact the lawyer. Thank you, he said, sounding relieved. After hanging up, I arranged for a company to move my belongings. Now, I need to contact Mila, I thought, intending to report to her for all her support. At that moment, I had mixed feelings about everything going according to plan. My name is Camila Smith, a 27-year-old working woman. I've always admired my hardworking mother and wanted to be like her in the future. Owen, my husband, has been supportive of this dream. I love seeing you work towards your goals, Owen would say, complimenting me. Our relationship started back in high school. He approached me while I was studying in the library. That was the beginning. You're always studying, aren't you? Would you mind teaching me? Sure, I don't mind. As we studied together, we became aware of each other and eventually started dating after Owen confessed. It was true I had never been interested in romance before and was thrilled to have my first boyfriend. Camila, you're grinning like an idiot. Is that obvious on my face? Because of this, I was often teased by my best friend, Mila. Mila looks exotic and her appearance made her an outsider among others. Your eyes are so beautiful. I'd love to be friends with you. I was drawn to her stunning green eyes and approached her, becoming friends. There were times when I felt embarrassed to stand next to Mila, who grew into a beautiful woman, but Owen assured me, Camila, you're beautiful too. I prefer you, allowing our friendship to remain strong. So far, I've lived a trouble-free life with my in-laws and am grateful for my husband and friend. Owen, please put your laundry in the washing machine. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Owen is perfect as a boyfriend, but as a husband, there are some things left to be desired. It's his sloppiness. Clothes left where they were taken off, dishes left out after eating, and his smartphone just left lying around anywhere. When we were living together, I felt a maternal instinct towards him and wanted to do everything for him. However, that feeling turned into dissatisfaction after we got married. We're both tired from work. At least you, who get home earlier, could do the bare minimum. Owen and I work at the same company, just in different departments. I'm in sales, dealing with international clients. And Owen works in an administrative role. Sometimes, I have to adjust my schedule to meet with clients, which means I get home late. Because of this, Owen often gets home earlier than I do. I get it, but Owen always says, laughing it off. I've always let it slide because I have a soft spot for him. But when I think about the future, especially if we have kids, it seems necessary to address this sooner rather than later. Hey, Owen, I don't want to say this, but when we have kids, do you think we can show them how you are now? When I said that, Owen sincerely apologized, you're right, sorry. However, his body remained on the sofa, unmoving. If you understand, could you get moving? I'll do it later, he said, his gaze still fixed on his smartphone. I sighed at him and ended up cleaning up myself. This is why he never learns, because I always end up taking the first step. Maybe we're just alike in that regard. Well, I get how you feel, Camila. In the end, it's faster if you do it yourself. Exactly. Plus, at my parents' house, everyone did their own thing and it was always clean, so I guess I just noticed these things. Mila laughed in agreement, true. It was always clean whenever I went there. Mila works at the same company as us, in the same department as me. So, I often end up venting to her during our breaks. Well, Owen's family is more laid back, isn't it? Mila knows both our families well. My house was always about my career-focused mom, supported by my stay-at-home dad. However, my mom always made sure to show us love and didn't just leave the housework to my dad, she actively helped out. Growing up in that environment, I can't help but be bothered by Owen's behavior. On the other hand, Owen's parents are more relaxed, and housework is done by whoever notices it needs to be done. Well, Owen is definitely taking advantage of Camila's good nature, and she's letting him. If you want to keep your marriage healthy, you really need to talk it out, Mila advised. I nodded at her words. It's fine now, but if something were to happen to me, Owen would be helpless on his own. Plus, because of my department, I sometimes have to travel abroad. Coming back from a trip to find the house a mess and having to clean it up without a break is becoming the norm. We'll definitely have a proper talk for both our sakes, I said. Mila smiled, showing her support. Since then, I've been nagging Owen more than before, trying to get him to change even a little. Maybe I was annoying him because he started spending less time at home. I'm home. Welcome back. You're quite late, aren't you? That day, Owen came home when it was almost the next day. Waiting for his return and preparing dinner, I couldn't help but speak sarcastically. He made a displeased face. Can't help it. I have social obligations too. Even so, a quick message wouldn't have hurt. Lately, Camila, you've become really nagging. You used to laugh it off. I couldn't help but get annoyed at Owen's grumbling. Sure, I had been cleaning up after him despite complaints. But it wasn't like I was okay with it. I've mentioned this before, right? Until now, I was just taking the initiative. Mila probably wouldn't nag me like this. Too bad, but she agrees with me. In fact, I think she'd be even stricter. If you prefer Mila so much, why don't you switch to her? I retorted, feeling irritated at Owen's words. Finally realizing I was angry, Owen looked at me with a start. Sorry, I was just irritated from work. I said something unpleasant. The one I love is only you, Camila, Owen said with his usual smile. Reflecting on my immaturity, I took a deep breath to calm myself. I was the one who spoke harshly. I'm sorry. Owen laughed, saying, both are to blame. That smile was indeed what I was drawn to, but at that moment, it felt shallow. Why can't married life go smoothly? The next day, eating lunch alone, I sighed. Today, Mila had a meeting with an overseas client, so our breaks didn't align. Are things not going well with Owen? Then, a woman spoke to me in a somewhat mocking tone. Isla. I sighed inwardly at her appearance. She's Isla Brown. Although not anymore, she used to be under my supervision. That's none of your business. Wow, you're scary. That's why your marriage is in trouble, Isla chuckled. Our compatibility was frankly bad. I believe in working hard regardless of gender and advancing in my career. However, she believes marrying into wealth and being a housewife is the key to happiness. That's a problem between us as a couple. Before you complain about my private life, maybe you should focus on your work. Nowadays, not being able to use a computer properly is a hindrance. At my words, her face turned sour. Actually, she first joined the company as my department member. However, despite claiming during the interview that she had studied abroad and was fluent in French, her French seemed not really well, and she couldn't even start a computer without asking someone. As a result, she quickly became a liability in our department and was transferred elsewhere. You're only at ease for now, Isla said as she left. Watching her go, I sighed, feeling like I had attracted the attention of a troublesome person. Camila! There's a bit of a situation. What's going on, Mila? It happened right after my talk with Isla. Mila came rushing over, pulling my arm. Camila, calm down and listen. There's a rumor going around the company, she said, and I was about to hear some shocking news. But upon hearing it, I thought to myself, I figured as much. Perhaps I had sensed something was off. Did you suspect something? Maybe. It's more of a that figures than a surprise, I replied, and Mila seemed to ponder something. Then, "Hey, Camila. Do you still love Owen?" she asked, and I fell silent. To be honest, the moment I heard that rumor, any love I had for him vanished. The content of the rumor was appalling. To be honest, continuing our marriage like this is impossible. In that case, I have a proposal for you. Are you interested? Without a moment's hesitation, I nodded. Soon after, I was set to go on a business trip overseas. This business trip might be a bit longer than usual. Will you be okay by yourself? I'll be fine. If anything happens, I'll rely on my parents. Although a bit worried, I left Owen to take care of the house and set off abroad. Don't worry, I'll handle everything. Mila reassured me with confident words just before my departure. She kept in touch while I was abroad, updating me on the situation back home. Meanwhile, I received no communication from Owen. Even when I reached out, he didn't respond. I need to focus on my job right now. Owen's actions were frustrating, but I decided to concentrate on my work. A week later, I finished my work and returned home. Owen? I'm at the airport right now, heading home. I messaged him, but as usual, there was no reply. I gave up on contacting him and, with my luggage, headed home. What is this? My belongings were left out in the yard to greet me. Shocked, I tried to enter the house, but the key didn't fit. Therefore, I called Owen. Hello? What's the meaning of this? After persistent calling, Owen finally answered. Tentatively, I asked him in a cold voice. Camila, I want a divorce. What? My mistress is pregnant, so please let's get a divorce. Owen begged over the phone. I understood his feelings all too well. But was there really a need to throw my belongings into the yard? I understand where you're coming from. But shouldn't we talk things over before getting a divorce and finding a lawyer? Besides, we need to sign the divorce papers. It's all prepared. Sure enough, when I checked, I found the divorce papers with a lawyer's contact. He seemed serious. Holding the divorce papers, I smirked, thinking, all right, just as planned. I'll fill these out and contact this lawyer. Thank you, he said, sounding relieved. After hanging up, I arranged for a company to move my belongings. Now, I need to contact Mila, I thought, intending to inform her of the assistance she had provided. At that moment, I had mixed feelings about everything going according to plan. Not long after, we proceeded with the divorce. Camila, I heard the news. You got a divorce. Isla smirked and approached me as soon as I arrived at work. I had only told our parents and Mila about my divorce from Owen. Thus, Isla, being an outsider, shouldn't have known. Wow, you're quite the informant. I haven't told anyone else about the divorce. You seem to know a lot. Well, that's because... Of course, since you're Owen's mistress, I said, and she looked surprised with an A. However, Isla quickly returned to a smug expression. Oh, you knew? You're not denying it. Well, if it's found out, no need to hide it, Isla said, throwing me a triumphant smile. It's shocking she would openly admit to an affair at work. What did Owen see in her? Owen was my mentor. He always taught me kindly, looked so cool, and besides, he's going to be the next CEO. At those words, I stopped dead in my tracks. Next CEO? Owen? Unaware of my confusion, Isla continued to brag about how much Owen loved her and how the old lady is past his prime. After her lengthy boast, she happily walked away. She's as brazen as ever. It seems she had been watching the situation unfold. Mila approached, laughing in disbelief. Really? And to think she believes Owen is going to be the next CEO. I'm shocked. Wonder where she got such a misunderstanding, Mila said, laughing, and I couldn't help but laugh along with her. From the look of it, it's easy to guess why she went after Owen. It seems she fell for the supposed position of Owen being the next CEO. Plus, she probably thought of harassing me, who had reprimanded her as a newcomer, as a bonus. I never thought she'd be that foolish. Mila looked around, laughing. The people around us were giving me sympathetic looks. We laughed together, anticipating the backlash Isla and Owen would face. A few hours later. Camila! As soon as it was break time, Owen rushed into my department. His face showing panic. Everyone's telling me, how could you betray such a good person? Even my parents said they're ashamed to have me as their son. That's enough. Mila intervened as Owen rambled on. If we talk about it here, Camila will get dragged into baseless rumors. I've booked a meeting room, let's discuss it there. And let's call her too, Mila said, smiling, and Owen nodded, pale-faced. Then we called Isla to join us in the meeting room Mila had arranged. So, Owen, what do you want to say? At Mila's prompt, Owen started to explain. Apparently, rumors were swirling in the department that Owen and Isla had an affair and I was deliberately kicked out of the house because of it. Because of that, Owen's life had become a bed of thorns. And what do you expect me to do about it? After all, you did betray me, didn't you? That's true. Just so you know, I didn't spread the rumors. She boldly declared her affair in front of other employees, I said, and Owen suddenly looked at Isla. However, Isla was nonchalantly twirling her hair, seemingly uninterested. It doesn't matter if rumors spread. Once you become the CEO, no one will dare to complain. She said, making Owen's eyes widen. We smirked in response. What? Me, the CEO? What are you talking about? This time, Isla froze. Then, looking confused, she turned to Owen. What? Aren't you the son of the CEO? No. The CEO is Camila's mother. What? Isla exclaimed in shock. Indeed, my mother, who had always been a career-driven woman, eventually started her own company. Now, she's the female CEO of the company we work for, battling it out every day. But, you said you were the son of the CEO. I might have said something like that. In the sense of being a son-in-law to Camila's family. It seems Owen's carelessness extended to his conversations as well. By not explaining things properly and speaking carelessly, he caused Isla's misunderstanding. By the way, are you really pregnant? Mila's words made Isla flinch. Unaware of her reaction, Owen, puzzled, looked on as I pulled out a photo. But, you're drinking, right? The photo showed Isla drinking beer at what looked like a bar. With a man who wasn't Owen also in the frame, indicating she had relations with others as well. This is... If you look at the date, this was just 3 days ago. 3 days prior, Isla's pregnancy should have already been known. It's a lie, right? To steal Owen from me. Isla. It's a lie, right? You said you were so happy about our child, Owen said, reaching out to touch Isla. Owen said, reaching out to touch Isla, who shrugged off his hand. Yes, that's right. I couldn't stand the thought of such a woman becoming the next CEO's wife. I thought I'd take her place. What a waste of time. Isla snapped back, leaving Owen looking hurt. Why are you playing the victim here? Plus, I've recorded our entire conversation, I informed, pulling out a voice recorder. Now, we had all the evidence we needed. Now, let's make sure you take full responsibility. Sorry, Camila. It was just a little game. Owen pleaded to me. I looked at him coldly. A little game, huh? Because of that, I was thrown out of my home. I really regret it. I'm truly sorry, you know that, right? Owen begged, offering his usual smile. In response, I also smiled sweetly. I'm tired of being with you, I said, and immediately, Owen froze. You never listened to me, and you've even cheated. I've completely lost patience with you. But it's a relief you agreed to the divorce so quickly. It made it easy for me to kick you both out of the company. Mila said, smiling. Owen and Isla looked confused, not grasping her words. They both puzzled. The next CEO won't be Owen, who was once considered a son-in-law, nor me. Mila is slated to take over this company. Indeed, the real successor was Mila. Her father is from the UK, and she spent her childhood vacations at her father's home there. Her connections formed there, along with the multiple languages she speaks thanks to her study abroad during her student years, have been a boon for our company. Thanks to her, our company's performance has skyrocketed. Because of her achievements, Mila has been chosen as the next CEO. I can trust her completely. That's why people like you don't belong in my company. You better start packing. Mila told Owen and Isla, who collapsed to their knees. I crouched in front of Owen. Owen, you need to pack up your stuff at home too. Why? Because that house was a gift from my parents, right? Indeed, the house we lived in was given to us by my parents as a wedding gift. It's in my name, so technically, Owen is the one who should be leaving. So, I'm being kicked out of both the house and the company. If you were still useful, we might have kept you, but unfortunately, your performance has been the lowest. Mila had inquired about Owen's work performance beforehand. Apparently, Owen has been causing problems at work and has become a liability. However, he was assigned as a mentor because he was good at teaching others. After hearing those terrible rumors, I decided to definitely fire you. The terrible rumors were about Owen and Isla's affair, which I had heard just before my business trip. It was about Owen and Isla having an affair. The two were openly affectionate in the company, causing rumors. We can't keep employees who engage in misconduct at work. I'll report this to the CEO. You should use the remaining time to look for another job. Owen slumped at these words. The reason I went on a business trip at that time was to expose their affair. I thought you and her, given her ambition to marry Owen in my absence, would definitely make a move. Indeed, the business trip was due to a client requesting me. But I could have managed it remotely. But knowing you'd definitely slip up, especially Isla, who wanted to marry Owen, I expected some action. The two were stunned. They probably didn't realize they were being played. Are you saying you set me up to cheat? I didn't encourage the affair. You decided to act. You'll take full responsibility. Owen opened his mouth to say something but then, unable to find the words, just hung his head. Of course, you'll take responsibility too. I'm not at fault. It's Owen who lied to me. Isla became defensive, possibly out of desperation, as Mila's gaze turned to her. Isla, you knew what would happen if you got involved with a married man. But at least I suffered because of you too. Don't think you can just run away from this. Soon after, they were both fired. Their poor performance and the affair during work hours were the final straw. I'm exhausted. You did a good job. After everything that happened, Mila comforted me with laughter. Thank you so much. If it weren't for you, Mila, I'd be at a total loss right now. Don't mention it. This was my way of giving back. Mila had no friends before when she just moved into my neighborhood. I was her first friend. Ever since you became my friend, I've decided I'd always help you, no matter what, she said, prompting me to respond with a heartfelt thank you. I truly felt blessed to have such a wonderful friend. After being ousted from the company, Owen went back to his parents' home but was turned away. We had known each other since high school. And I was well acquainted with Owen's parents, who had always treated me kindly. They were overjoyed when we announced our engagement, with his mother exclaiming how she had always wanted a daughter. Despite this, it seems understandable that they couldn't accept a son who had betrayed and divorced me. I'm truly sorry for what our foolish son has done. Owen's mother apologized over the phone after hearing about the incident. She assured me they would never welcome Owen back. His parents seemed to have kept their promise. Owen tried to scrape by with part-time jobs, but his careless nature led to frequent mistakes and tardiness, resulting in him being repeatedly let go. Meanwhile, Isla had fallen for someone else and ended up getting into trouble, eventually needing assistance from the police. Because she showed no signs of remorse, even the police were exasperated with Isla. Her parents seemed to have disowned her too, so a harsh reality awaits her after her release from police custody. It's a fitting result for their actions, I murmured, learning about their subsequent fates. Later, I received a call from Owen. I truly regret everything. I want to reconcile with you, Camila. Owen pleaded. I decided to ask him something. Hey, you actually liked Mila, not me, right? Owen fell silent at my words. I had felt uneasy the day he suggested Mila as an option. If Isla had been his true love, he wouldn't have mentioned Mila, instead saying something like a younger colleague. You really liked Mila. Even when you approached me during our student days, it was because I was closest to her, right? Yes. But as we dated, I grew to love you, Camila. I can't believe that, I said dismissively, and Owen attempted to protest, no. But his words no longer reached me. I genuinely loved you, Owen. But now, I have no feelings for you. So, don't ever contact me again, I said, ending the call. To think he was my first love. I sighed and blocked Owen's contact. Now, it's time to move on, I resolved, ready to focus anew. Mila is set to face her challenges as the next CEO. In gratitude for her help, I must support her as much as I can. With that in mind, I got back to work. Camila, the company's performance has improved again thanks to your business trip. It wasn't just my effort. Since then, Mila has been looking out for me. So, Camila, are you interested in taking on a challenge at our overseas branch? She asked, looking at me earnestly. She looked back at me with a serious expression. I'd like to hear more about that, I said, thinking that moving abroad might help me finally move on from Owen. And so, I headed to the overseas branch. It turned out to be a blessing in disguise, as it allowed me to avoid Owen, who had been lying in wait outside the company. Owen, growing frustrated as he waited in vain for me to appear, attracted the suspicion of a security guard, who then called the police. I told him never to show his face in front of me or her again. Mila shared, laughing about how she had scolded him. Following her advice, I consulted with a lawyer and obtained a restraining order. I was also informed that if he tried to contact me again, the police would be notified. Perhaps because of this, Owen never appeared in front of me again. By the way, I got a call from Isla too. She was asking to be rehired, Mila shared. Was anything done about it? No worries. Before I could deal with her, your mom dismissed her, saying, we don't need someone as incompetent and lacking in basic decency as you, Mila explained with a laugh. My mother is indeed strong. Hearing this, I felt refreshed and was able to concentrate on my work. After some time, Mila was officially recognized as the next CEO and began the handover process. Thanks to my overseas experience, I felt I had grown a lot. Mila is always so busy, I thought, planning to have drinks with her to show my appreciation for her hard work. As I waited outside the company for her to show up, a male colleague approached me. I was just thinking about contacting her when it happened. Oh, Camila? Hello. I was approached by a male colleague. He seemed puzzled to see me there, but after I explained, he understood and offered. If it's okay with you, I can keep you company. Taking him up on his offer, I decided to chat with him to pass the time. Then, finding out we shared the same hobbies, we hit it off completely. You two seem to be having a good time, Mila teased when she finally arrived, causing us both to blush. Would you mind exchanging contact information? He asked afterward. Over time, as we kept in touch, we began dating. I'm glad. You seemed so down after breaking up with Owen, Mila noted, apparently worried about me. Determined to reassure her this time, I decided to be more discerning. Moving forward was the choice.